The city never truly slept, but the office tower was quiet now. It was past midnight and only one light still glowed on the 22nd floor. Evan Carter, a young engineer, sat in front of a row of computer screens typing fast. His fingers moved with habit, his eyes half closed. Everyone else had gone home hours ago. He stayed because something didn't feel right. The company's new financial system was showing strange numbers, tiny credit losses that no one else noticed. But Evan noticed everything. He took another sip of cold coffee and yawned. The only sound was the soft hum of the air conditioner. Then suddenly, the screens flickered. He frowned. Not again, he muttered, checking the power logs. Everything was normal. Then a soft voice and a whisper came from behind him. "You're being robbed, human." Evan froze. His hand stopped midair. He turned slowly, heart pounding. No one was there. The office was empty, just the faint glow from computer lights and shadows moving across glass walls. "Who's there?" He called, trying to sound brave. His voice echoed across the room, no answer. He rubbed his face, laughing nervously. "I need sleep," he whispered to himself. But then a small blue light blinked on one of the side monitors, a light he didn't turn on. The message read, "You're being robbed," the same words. Exactly the same. Evan leaned closer. "Is this a prank?" he asked aloud. He tapped the keyboard to trace the signal, but the system locked itself for a second and the blue light grew brighter until it filled the whole screen. He squinted, shielding his eyes, then he saw something moving inside the light, a shape, small, delicate, a face, not human. Her skin shimmered like silver glass. Her hair floated as if underwater. Her eyes, big, bright, and blue, looked directly into his. Evan jumped from his chair. "What the hell?" The creature raised a hand. "Please, don't scream." Her voice was soft, trembling, like a child's but filled with strange wisdom. "You're being robbed, human," she repeated. "Right now. Your company is stealing from thousands and they'll blame you." Evan stared, unable to speak. His mind raced for logic. Maybe it was an advanced hologram. Maybe someone hacked into the system. But the fear in her voice felt real. He whispered, "Who are you?" "My name is Lyra," she said, her glow pulsing gently. "I came through your network to stop them." "Stop who?" he asked. "The ones above you. Your company. They found a way to hide their crimes in your system, and they're using your ID." Evan blinked, trying to understand. "You mean they're stealing money?" Lyra nodded slowly. "Money, data, energy, everything." He turned toward the financial reports on his other monitor, and his blood went cold. A silent transaction was happening right now. Millions of credits moving between secret accounts. He had no control over it. It was using his employee tag, his password, his name. No, that's not possible," he whispered. He started typing fast, trying to stop the transfer. But every time he entered a command, a red line appeared on the screen. "Access denied." Lyra looked at him sadly. "They're watching you, Evan. You can't stop it from here." "How do you know my name?" he asked sharply. "Because I read it in your company's system, and because I've been here for days, hiding." "Hiding? From who?" Her face darkened. "From your bosses. From the humans who took my people's technology and made it their own. I was one of the last data keepers of Alennis Prime. They found our code and turned it into this." She pointed to the giant servers glowing behind him. Evan felt his knees weaken. "Wait," he said slowly. "You mean this company, Global Tech, is using alien tech?" "Yes," Lyra whispered. "And they're draining the rest of us through it. They use your greed to hide their crimes." He took a step back, breathing fast. "This can't be real," he muttered. "Aliens aren't real." "Then explain how I'm here." For a moment, silence filled the room. Only the sound of computers running. Evan looked into her eyes. She didn't look fake. She looked scared, real, alive. He wanted to help her, but his brain screamed at him to run. "Why are you warning me?" he asked quietly. "Because tomorrow they'll erase you. You'll take the blame for everything they stole." His mouth went dry. "Erase me? Your data, your records, your name. You'll disappear just like my people did." Evan's heart pounded. "Then what should I do?" Lyra stepped closer, her voice lowering. "Don't trust anyone. Not even the ones you think are your friends. Keep quiet until I tell you when to act." And before he could reply, she began to fade. her body dissolving into tiny blue particles that floated like dust in the air. Wait. Evan reached out, but she was gone. The screens went dark, every single one. The room was silent again. He sat down slowly, his breath shaking. Was this real? Or a nightmare? Then one monitor blinked again. A single line of text appeared. They'll come for you tomorrow. Evan stared at the screen, his chest tight. Outside, thunder rolled over the city. He didn't know it yet, but tonight was the last peaceful night of his life. Evan woke up with a heavy head and dry eyes. His clock showed 6:45 a.m. He had barely slept 2 hours. The memory of that strange night still burned inside his mind. The whisper, the blue light, the alien girl named Lyra. He tried to tell himself it was just exhaustion. Maybe he'd imagined it all. But when he turned on his laptop, one line blinked on the dark screen. They'll come for you today. Evan's throat went dry. His stomach twisted. He looked around the apartment, quiet, ordinary. The morning sunlight painted gold lines across the walls. Everything looked normal. But it didn't feel normal. At the company, the world looked the same. Fake smiles, coffee cups, clicking keyboards. Evan walked in, pretending to be calm. His boss, Mr. Crane, stood near the elevator. Tall, clean-shaven, and smiling too much. "Carter," Crane said loudly. "You're early today. Couldn't sleep?" Evan forced a laugh. "Something like that, sir." Crane leaned closer. "Good. You'll need your focus today. Big meeting with investors." The man's tone was smooth, but his eyes were calculating. Evan felt it. Something was off. He sat at his desk. His screen turned on automatically. For a second, he thought he saw a flicker of blue light, but it vanished. He opened his inbox and dozens of new messages, all marked urgent. But one subject line froze him. "Unauthorized access detected. Your credentials used in illegal transaction." He clicked it open. There it was, a report from the internal audit team. Millions of credits had been transferred using his ID. They thought he did it. His heart pounded. His palms turned cold. Just as Lyra had warned, they were framing him. He stood up fast and walked toward the security floor. But 2 guards stepped into his path. "Mr. Carter," one said, "the director wants to see you." Evan nodded weakly and followed them. His mind raced. Should he tell them about Lyra? About aliens? No one would believe that. They would call him insane. Inside the glass office, Mr. Crane sat waiting. He smiled like a man who already knew the ending. "Sit down, Evan," Crane said calmly. "We have a small problem. Looks like someone hacked our systems through your account." Evan clenched his fists. "Sir, that's impossible. I was here last night. Something used my ID." Crane raised an eyebrow. "Something?" Evan hesitated. Someone." The boss sighed. "You've been a good worker, Evan, smart. But if the numbers don't add up, the investors will need a name. I hope you understand." The words hit like a punch. He was being sacrificed, turned into the scapegoat. "Sir, please," Evan begged. "I didn't do it." "There's something you don't know." But Crane's face hardened. "Security will take your badge now. You're suspended until the investigation is over." The guard stepped forward. Evan's mind screamed. He couldn't let this happen. He had to prove his innocence. As they escorted him out, every monitor in the hallway flickered. The screens glowed blue. Lines of alien symbols flashed. And then, just for a second, a face appeared. Lyra. Her voice whispered inside his head. "Don't fight now. Go home. They're watching you everywhere." Evan's eyes widened. He looked at the guards and they didn't hear her. Only he did. He nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll go," he said quietly. Outside, the rain began to fall. He walked through the busy streets feeling lost. His whole career, his name, gone. Just like she said. He reached his apartment, sat on the floor, and buried his face in his hands. "How do I fix this, Lyra?" He whispered into the silence. Then the lights dimmed again. The room turned cold, and from the corner of his monitor, the same soft blue glow appeared. Lyra's hologram flickered to life. Small, delicate, but real. Her expression was serious this time. "They framed you to cover the real theft," she said softly. "But there's more. They're not just stealing money. They're selling stolen alien tech, my people's technology." Evan looked up, stunned. "What are you talking about?" Lyra raised her glowing hand. A holographic map appeared. the company's network structure filled with red lines. These are energy trade routes, hidden in your financial systems. They send living energy from our worlds to human buyers. Evan couldn't believe it. You mean they're trafficking your people's power? She nodded. Yes, and they use human greed to hide it. Evan's voice trembled. Then why me? Why use my ID? Because you're clean, Lyra whispered. You're honest. No one would suspect the company itself. They needed a good man to be the mask of their crime. The truth hit him like lightning. He wasn't just a victim, he was the cover. Lyra looked at him with sad eyes. They'll erase your name next. Delete your records. You'll disappear in 24 hours. Evan stood up, panic rising. Then what do I do? You trust me, she said softly. And let me in, he blinked. Into what? Your system. Your network. Your mind, if I must. Together we can expose them. But it will hurt. Her light dimmed as she spoke, as if she was fading again. Evan hesitated. He didn't know if she was real or a trap, but he had no one else. He nodded slowly. Do it, Lyra smiled faintly. Then brace yourself, human, the storm begins tonight. The light swallowed the room, and bright, blinding blue. Evan screamed as his laptop exploded with energy, and his eyes filled with alien code. He didn't know it yet, but by the next sunrise the entire company would burn. The night outside Evan's apartment was silent, but inside the air buzzed with energy. Blue light pulsed through his laptop like a heartbeat. Lyra's voice filled the room, calm, focused, but carrying something heavy. Evan, listen. I've entered your system. I can trace the theft, but we must go deeper, inside the company's central core. Evan sat trembling. The light surrounded him. Tiny glowing codes spinning around like fireflies. He could feel static in his skin, hear faint whispers in his head. Alien voices, distant and haunting. Are you sure this is safe? He asked. Safe? Lyra smiled weakly. Nothing about truth is safe. He nodded slowly. Then let's do it. For hours they worked together. Evan typed and Lyra guided him, her glowing image hovering beside him. She showed him secret tunnels inside the company's data, places even the engineers didn't know existed. There were files hidden under fake names, protected by alien encryption. Evan's heart pounded faster with every discovery. Each folder revealed another lie, proof of illegal trading, experiments, stolen alien tech, and something worse. Biological data labeled Subject Elenis. He whispered, That's your people, isn't it? Lyra's voice trembled. Yes, they're using our DNA to build weapons. Evan slammed his hand on the desk. Monsters, he said. They're monsters. Lyra looked at him gently. Now you understand why I came. But suddenly the computer screens blinked red. A deep alarm echoed. Intrusion detected, Lyra gasped. They found us. The light dimmed as Evan panicked. What do I do? Shut it down. Disconnect now. He yanked the power cable, but the warning kept flashing. His screen cracked with static. A voice came through the speaker, cold, sharp, familiar. Nice try, Carter. Evan froze. It was Mr. Crane. Did you really think I wouldn't notice you playing hero in my system? How are you watching me? Evan stammered. Crane chuckled. You think this tech is yours? Everything you touch is ours. Even the alien girl whispering in your ear. Evan's stomach dropped. What did you say? Oh, you didn't know. Lyra works for us. Lyra's image flickered. He's lying, she said quickly. Don't believe him. But Crane's voice was steady, confident. We built her from stolen fragments of Elenis code. She's not real. She's our bait, to test which employees would break rules for justice. Congratulations, Carter. You failed. Evan's heart felt like it stopped. He looked at Lyra, her eyes wide with panic. No, I'm not their creation. I escaped them, she cried. Crane laughed. Of course you did, dear. That's what we programmed you to believe. The room shook. Evan didn't know what to believe anymore. Lyra, he whispered, is it true? Her glow flickered again. I don't know. Pain filled her face as static rippled through her body. They're trying to control me. I can feel it. I'm losing myself. Crane's voice echoed through every speaker. Enough of this drama. Guards are on their way, Carter. You'll explain everything downstairs. Then the lights went black. When Evan woke, his wrists were tied to a cold metal chair. He was in a lab, the company's secret basement. Bright lights burned above him. Around him, glass tanks filled with blue liquid lined the walls. Inside each tank floated bodies, not human, not alive, Lyra's kind. He felt sick. What did you do to them? He whispered. Mr. Crane stepped out from the shadows, smiling. Progress, my boy. The universe gives us tools. We use them. That's business. Evan pulled against his restraints. You're killing them. Crane shrugged. They're just data with skin. Same as her. At that moment, a screen beside Evan turned on. Lyra's face appeared, weak, flickering, tears of light falling down her cheeks. Evan, I'm sorry. I brought you here. They used me to find you. He stared, heartbroken. You betrayed me? Not by choice. They control the code inside me. But I can still fix this, please. Trust me one last time, Crane snorted. How touching. She still thinks she has free will. But before he could move, Lyra screamed. The lights exploded in blue fire. The tanks shattered, liquid flooding the floor. Evan shielded his eyes as alarm screamed. Lyra's image grew larger, brighter, stronger. Her voice echoed like thunder. You enslaved us. You used us, no more. Crane stumbled back. Stop. You'll destroy everything. That's the point, she said coldly. The ground shook. Electric blue lines spread across the walls. Every computer in the building burst with data. Evan felt his bonds melt away. He ran toward the exit, shouting, Lyra! Come with me. But she looked at him sadly. I can't leave, Evan. I am the system now. And I'm taking them with me. Her body glowed so bright it burned the shadows away. Evan escaped into the hallway as the whole floor erupted in blue light. Behind him, he heard her last whisper, survive. Until sunrise. He burst out of the building, falling to his knees in the rain. The tower behind him glowed like a dying star. As he looked back, a single thought ran through his mind. He didn't know if Lyra had betrayed him. Or saved him. The rain didn't stop that night. It fell hard, washing the city in silver. Evan sat alone on a park bench, soaked, shaking, and staring at the burning lights far across the skyline. The Global Tech Tower. His company. His prison. The building still stood, but parts of it flickered like broken stars. Blue lightning danced around its antennas, spreading across the sky. He whispered to himself. Lyra, what did you do? He hadn't gone home. He couldn't. His ID didn't work anymore. His data was erased, just as Lyra had warned. When he tried using his bank card, the machine flashed. Account not found. He was a ghost now, invisible to the world. And somewhere inside that tower, an alien girl made of light was fighting a war he couldn't see. At 3 a.m., thunder cracked like a scream. Evan's phone vibrated in his pocket. A message with no number, only glowing blue letters. It begins. Watch the sky, he looked up. Above the clouds, the storm twisted unnaturally, forming a spiral, bright and alive, like something breathing. Then for the first time he heard it, a low humming sound deep as the ocean vibrating through his bones. It wasn't thunder. It was a signal. Across the city, lights flickered out one by one. Billboards died. Cars stopped. Phones went black. People came out of their apartments, confused, pointing at the sky. And there, high above, something huge moved behind the clouds. A shadow, circular, silent, too big to be human-made. Evan felt his chest tighten. He whispered, Lyra, is that you? Back inside the Global Tech Tower, chaos reigned. Alarms blared, but security systems were blind. The elevator stopped. Drones malfunctioned midair. Executives shouted orders, their faces pale under the blue emergency lights. In the main lab, Mr. Crane was on a call with military command. No, we don't know what's happening. Our satellites are jammed. Just send containment teams. Suddenly, every screen in the room turned blue. The company logo vanished, replaced by Lyra's face. Her eyes glowed like cold fire. You built an empire on stolen souls, she said. Tonight it ends. Crane's jaw dropped. Shut it down, now! Technicians scrambled, typing commands, but their systems no longer obeyed. You can't stop it, Lyra's voice echoed through every device. The network is no longer yours. It belongs to us. Outside, Evan stood in the rain, watching as lightning struck the tower's tip. Blue energy spread down the building like veins, lighting up every window. He remembered Lyra's last words. Survive until sunrise. But how could he, when the entire sky seemed ready to fall. The humming grew louder, no longer distant but everywhere at once. He covered his ears, but the sound wasn't coming through them. It was inside his head. Then, in a flash of light, she appeared beside him. Lyra. Her form was flickering, unstable. Her eyes glowed brighter than ever. "Evan," she said softly, "you have to go." He stood up. "Where? What's happening?" "The system is collapsing. They tried to stop me with a virus. I reversed it," he frowned. "What does that mean?" She looked at him sadly. "It means everything connected to them will fall. Their data, their buildings, their money, their power." Evan stepped closer. "You'll destroy the company?" Lyra's voice trembled. "Not just the company. The network. The entire grid that fed on our code." Evan froze. "Lyra, that's half the city." She looked away. "Then half the city must restart clean." In the distance, drones began to crash from the sky like burning stars. Cars lost control. Buildings flickered. People screamed. Evan grabbed her hand or tried to. His fingers passed through her, but he felt warmth. Faint, electric warmth. "Lyra, stop."
"There are innocent people!"
"This isn't justice." She stared at him with eyes full of sorrow. "Innocent?" she whispered. "Do you know how many of my kind died to power your devices? How many were broken into code so humans could be rich?" He shook his head. "You're right. But killing won't fix it." For the first time she hesitated. The light around her dimmed. "You sound like—" she began softly. "My brother." Evan blinked. "You had a brother?" "He believed humans could change," she said. "He died proving it." Her glow flickered again. "Evan, go, please, before I lose control." He stepped back, his heart breaking. "If you do this, there's no going back." "Neither for you," she whispered. "When the sun rises, your world will change forever." The storm reached its peak. The clouds above opened like a wound, revealing the colossal alien ship hidden inside. Its surface was made of light, smooth and shifting, like living metal. Every person in the city looked up, speechless. Some fell to their knees. Some prayed. Some ran. Evan could barely stand. The sound, the light, the pressure. It felt like the world was holding its breath. Lyra turned toward the ship. "They've come," she said quietly. "My people. What's left of them," he whispered. "For revenge? For balance," she answered. And then she looked at him one last time. "When it ends, remember me not as a weapon, but as a warning." Her light burst outward, merging with the storm. The sky turned blue-white, blinding. Evan fell to his knees as the Global Tech Tower exploded into light. Not flame. When the brightness faded, the city was silent. No fire, no smoke, just quiet. The tower was gone, and somewhere above the clouds the alien ship vanished without a trace. Evan whispered into the wind, his voice shaking. "Lyra, what have you done?" Morning came, but the sun looked different. The sky was pale gold, quiet, almost too quiet. The usual noise of traffic and city life was gone. Evan stood on the rooftop of an abandoned building, looking toward the place where the Global Tech Tower once stood. There was nothing there now, just smoke, blue mist, and silence. He had stayed awake the whole night, watching the storm swallow the city. He saw light fall like rain, and then nothing. The power grid had collapsed. No signals, no internet, no news. The world had gone still. Then, at 6:03 a.m., the silence broke. Every screen that still worked, in cafes, homes, and police stations, flickered on. A blue symbol appeared, a spiral made of light, and then a calm voice spoke through every speaker, every phone, every car radio. "This world ran on stolen code. We have returned what was taken. Balance has been restored." The voice wasn't human. It wasn't angry either. It was sad. People panicked. Some thought it was a hacker attack. Others thought it was God. But Evan knew that voice. He whispered, "Lyra." By noon, the world realized something unbelievable. Not only global tech, but every company connected to its network had fallen. Their bank accounts were gone. Their data erased. Their leaders vanished. Some were found unconscious, their minds burned out by strange electrical pulses. Others were simply missing. It was as if the Earth itself had deleted them. News channels struggled to stay online. Reporters spoke with shaky voices. Stock markets have crashed globally. Every major energy and defense firm linked to global tech is offline. The world economy is frozen. But amid the chaos, people noticed something strange. Every home's power returned. Hospitals lit up again. Water systems worked. The world's ordinary people could still live. It was only the rich and corrupt who had fallen. Evan walked through the city streets that afternoon. The air smelled of rain and ozone. People were gathering in silence near the empty plaza where Global Tech once stood. He heard whispers. Was it aliens? Maybe AI revenge? Or maybe justice. A child pointed at the sky. Look, the blue lady? Evan's heart stopped. He turned, and for a brief moment above the clouds he saw it too. A faint figure, glowing faintly, watching. Lyra. He found an old cafe still open, running on backup power. The owner, an old man, served tea quietly. Strange day, huh? He said. Evan nodded. You could say that. The TV in the corner buzzed. A government spokesman appeared, his suit wrinkled, eyes dark. We are calling this incident the global reset. No one knows who or what caused it. Citizens are asked to remain calm. Evan smiled sadly. He knew exactly what caused it. Lyra had done what she promised. She had taken everything back. But the question burned inside him. At what cost? That night, as he walked home through the empty streets, he heard her voice again. Soft. Inside his head. You're safe now, Evan, he stopped. Lyra, are you still here? A soft blue light flickered beside him. Her hologram appeared, faint and fading. Her once bright eyes now looked tired, dim. It's over, she said softly. They can't hurt anyone anymore. Evan looked at her sadly. You destroyed them all. They destroyed my world first, he clenched his fists. You also destroyed people who had nothing to do with it. Lyra lowered her head. In war, innocence is a luxury, but I tried to save what I could. He looked up at her. So what happens now? Now? I sleep, Evan frowned. Sleep? She nodded slowly. My energy is fading. The others, my kind, left this planet before dawn. They're free now. I stayed to say goodbye. His chest tightened. You're leaving too? Lyra smiled gently. You humans have a chance to begin again. Don't waste it, he took a step forward. Lyra, wait! Evan, she interrupted softly. You gave me something my creators never did. He blinked. What? Choice. Her light shimmered, brighter for a moment. Remember, justice without mercy becomes another kind of cruelty. Teach your kind that. Then her glow began to fade piece by piece into the wind. Lyra, he shouted. Don't go. I'll always be in the light, she whispered. When you see blue, remember me. And then, she was gone. The next morning, the news spread everywhere. Global Tech's data recovery impossible. All stolen alien tech gone. World governments agree to ban interstellar trade. The people called it the purge of code. But Evan called it something else. Lyra's last act of love. A week later, he returned to the empty plaza where the tower once stood. Flowers and candles covered the ground. Someone had painted words on the wall in glowing blue paint. Balance restored. Remember the light. Evan touched the letters gently and smiled. He looked up at the sky. For a second, he thought he saw a shimmer, like a smile made of starlight. He whispered softly, Rest well, Lyra. The wind carried his words upward, into the quiet morning sky. The world was quiet but uneasy. A week after the global reset, cities had light again, but people moved like shadows. Every nation was trying to understand who or what had rewritten the world. Evan Carter walked through the broken streets of downtown. Posters of the vanished companies fluttered like ghosts. New banners read, Clean start, humanity first. He didn't trust them. Power always tried to grow back. A world without leaders' governments. Announced temporary councils. Banks promised to restore money for the good of the people. But the truth was simple. No one controlled the systems anymore. Lyra's code still lived inside the network, silent, watching. Whenever a new company tried to rise too fast, its files vanished overnight. People called it the Blue Judgment. Some worshipped it. Others feared it. Evan just missed her. The visit one gray morning, two strangers in black coats knocked on his door. Mr. Carter? The woman asked politely. Global Council Intelligence. You're listed as the only survivor of the Global Tech event. Evan hesitated. Survivor or suspect? The man smiled thinly. Both for now. We need your help. You had contact with the entity known as Lyra. We want to know how to reach her. Evan's stomach turned. Reach her? They wanted control again. He shook his head. She's gone. The woman leaned closer. We don't think so. Power grids still respond to her signal. Someone has to speak for her, and we believe it's you. Inside the lab, they took him to a white underground facility where scientists whispered like priests. On a massive screen glowed faint blue code, moving patterns like breathing light. This is her, said the lead scientist. A self-aware network ghost. We can't delete her, but maybe you can talk to her. Evan felt a pull inside his chest. Lyra, can you hear me? He whispered. For a long moment, nothing. Then a soft pulse of blue ran through the lights. A voice filled the room, gentle, tired. Evan, the scientist gasped. They had never heard a direct response before. Why did you call me back? Lyra asked. Evan stepped forward. They want to make peace, or at least pretend to. Peace? She repeated. After centuries of taking? Her tone was calm, but the lights in the room flickered. Equipment hummed. The scientist spoke quickly, nervous. We want to cooperate. Share technology. Build a new alliance. Lyra's laughter echoed like a soft wind. Alliance built on greed ends the same way. Evan could see fear in the humans' faces. He raised his hands. Lyra, please don't hurt them. That's not what we need now. Then tell me, human, what do you need? Evan took a deep breath. A chance to change. A second beginning, silence. Then Lyra spoke again, softer. You sound like my brother again. The lights steadied. I will give you your second chance, she said. But it comes with a rule. No system may hold more power than one mind can bear. If greed grows again, I will return. The scientists glanced at each other. The rule sounded simple, but it meant the end of global empires. Evan nodded slowly. I'll make them follow it. Lyra's glow dimmed. Then humanity's test begins. The screen faded to black. The choice later, the council offered Evan a deal. They wanted him to be the human liaison, to speak for Lyra, to calm the world. They promised him wealth, safety, control. He stared at the contract on the table. It felt wrong. Lyra had destroyed empires for this kind of greed. Could he really join them and stay clean? He remembered her last words. Justice without mercy becomes another kind of cruelty. He stood up, pushing the papers away. No, he said quietly. If humanity deserves another chance, it must start without me in power. The council members looked confused. Then what will you do? Evan smiled faintly. Teach people what freedom costs. He walked out, leaving them in silence. A new beginning. Months passed. The world changed slowly. People began to trade locally again, build smaller companies, share rather than hoard. There were mistakes, but there was also hope. Sometimes late at night, Evan looked at the stars. He could feel her somewhere up there, resting, watching. Once, while fixing an old computer for a school, he saw the screen flicker blue. Words appeared for a brief second. Still watching. Still believing, he smiled. Good, he whispered. So am I. The moral choice in a world rebuilt from ashes, every person had to decide. Follow the old path of greed or Lyra's path of balance. Some said the alien had saved humanity. Others said she cursed it. But Evan knew the truth. She had given them choice. And that was the one power no one could ever steal again. 6 months passed after the global reset. The world had changed. Cities glowed softer now. Smaller companies replaced the greedy giants. And people finally talked more about peace than profit. But peace never lasts forever. One cold evening, Evan Carter stood on a quiet beach watching the horizon. The ocean was dark silver under the moonlight. A soft breeze touched his face. For the first time since Lyra's disappearance, he felt calm. Then the sky flickered blue. Just once, like a heartbeat, he frowned. No, not again. The return minutes later, the ground trembled. Every phone and satellite blinked the same message across the planet. Transmission incoming, origin Elenis Prime. Evan's chest tightened. He whispered, Lyra? But when the light appeared above the clouds, it was not her. A massive silver ship cut through the sky, smooth, bright, alive. Its shape reflected the moonlight like liquid metal. Smaller vessels followed, surrounding Earth's orbit like a halo. People panicked. News stations screamed alien fleet detected. Governments sent fighter jets that never returned. Within hours, the world was under the shadow of something older and stronger than humanity itself. The message Evan was taken by a military escort to the capital. Scientists and generals filled the command room, arguing, shouting. When he entered, they all fell silent. An officer said quietly, "They're asking for you." He blinked. Me, why? A hologram appeared in the center of the room, a tall alien figure wearing armor of flowing light. Her face looked similar to Lyra's, but sharper, older, filled with cold anger. "Human Evan Carter," the alien said. "You spoke with Lyra of Elenis." He nodded slowly. "Yes, she saved us." The alien's eyes narrowed. "She betrayed us. She disobeyed the council and freed your kind. Because of her, we lost control of the extraction network. Do you know how many of my people died?" Evan's voice shook. "She didn't betray you. She set you free from the same greed that destroyed her." The alien's expression darkened. "You speak boldly for a species that once enslaved us." The room filled with tension. Generals reached for weapons, but Evan raised a hand. "Wait, let me talk to her." He stepped closer to the hologram. Lyra wanted peace, not revenge. "Please, don't destroy what she built." The alien tilted her head. "Then prove humanity deserves to live." The testa beam of blue light surrounded him. The world vanished. When he opened his eyes, he was standing in an endless white field filled with moving code. Lyra's voice echoed softly, distant. "Evan, this is the final test." He turned around. She appeared, her glow gentle, her smile faint. He gasped. "Lyra, you're alive?" "Alive in memory," she said. "They called me a traitor, but I won't let them destroy what we built." "Then what is this?" "They'll read your thoughts, your heart. If they find hatred or greed inside you, they'll erase your species." Evan swallowed hard. "And if they don't? Then Earth lives. But only if you choose correctly." A panel of light opened before him, 2 glowing buttons. One said, "Protect Earth." The other said, "Return power to Elenis." Lyra's voice whispered, "One will save your kind. The other will free mine forever. You can't choose both." The decision, he stared at the lights. His heart pounded. He thought of the children rebuilding homes of the world, learning to share again. He also thought of Lyra's people, lost and broken because of human greed. He closed his eyes and whispered, "There has to be another way." Lyra stepped closer. "There is always another way, but only if someone believes it." He looked at her. "Then I believe." He pressed both hands down, on nothing. Between the buttons, the field exploded in white light. Code spiraled upward. Lyra gasped. "Evan, what did you do?" "I refused the game," he said softly. "No more winners. No more slaves. We share this world or we lose it together. Redemption, silence." Then the light softened. The field faded. The alien council stood before him, glowing faintly. Their leader looked down at him. "Strange human, you broke our code." Evan smiled weakly. "Maybe your code was too small for mercy." The leader's expression changed, anger melting into quiet respect. "Perhaps Lyra was right about you." The ships above Earth began to move. Slowly they turned toward the stars. A final transmission echoed across every device on Earth. "Balance accepted. War unnecessary. The Elenis will depart. Farewell." When the ships vanished, the sky cleared. The world breathed again. Evan stood alone, staring upward. The ocean reflected the stars. Then a single voice, soft and familiar, spoke in his mind. "You chose mercy. That's what makes you human. And something more," he smiled. "Goodbye, Lyra." "Not goodbye," she whispered, "just until the next dawn." The blue glow faded into the horizon, leaving only sunrise. Epilogue. The new dawn years later, children studied history from clean, free energy networks. No kings, no empires, only communities sharing knowledge. Every night, when the sky turned dark, a faint blue shimmer circled the planet. Some called it the guardian light. Evan never claimed credit. He just worked quietly, teaching that power meant nothing without compassion. And sometimes, when lightning flashed across the sea, he smiled, because deep in the electric hum of the world, he could still hear her voice. Still watching, still believing.